Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Sean, the American in Krakow. Still not riding his motorcycle. That just means the weather has not been cooperating. It is still pretty wet out there. It's not super hard raining, but it's been consistently on and off since last night, so I'm not feeling it, and it's cold. However, I did have a conversation last night with a buddy, and it kind of brought up a good topic, just in gear in general, and what do you wear, and what do you wear for different types of bikes, things like that. So I want to start off a little bit with talking about the bikes I've ridden, and the styles of bikes that I've ridden, and the gear that I've wear or wore or didn't wear, and where I am today with when it comes to things about like gear, helmets, gloves, jackets, jeans, the works. So I started off as a sport bike rider. You may not tell by this svelte physique. But my first bike was an R1, which was a terrible, terrible idea. And something I would never recommend to anyone ever to do as their first bike. But I did start an R1. And I'm alive, so that's a good thing. I survived that. But I will be honest, it taught me a lot about riding. It taught me a lot about riding, but in a negative way. That R1, which was way too much bike for me then, and technically still way too much bike for me today. And I'm talking 23 years later of riding, on and off, for 23 years. I'm not a track rider, and I will never find the limits of an R1. And if I did, I hope it's on a track. And two, I'm hoping I'm in the MotoGP or something, because that would be amazing. That's never going to happen. So when I said the R1, I learned a lot, but not in a great way. I learned how not to kill myself. So I was deathly afraid of that machine. Just because it was so twitchy and so... it was very clear to me while riding that bike that at any time, if that bike wanted to kill me, it could kill me. I was never really, at that age, at that time, that level of experience, I was never truly in control of that bike. I was riding it, but I was riding it with the thought in mind of, oh, don't do that too much, or don't do this, or don't do that, or don't do this, because you'll die. This bike will kill me. And like I said, I did learn things like the value of throttle control. When you're riding an R1 is super important. It will yeet you off into the sun if you give it a good throttle and you're not in the right position. The bike, if you're in the right position, the bike will go with you. But if you're sitting up and one-handed and it's going to go. It's going to say bye. This is not... I'm not saying that you should never ride an R1 or a leader bike in general, sport bike, super sports. No. Not my point. It's just, for me personally, it was too much. I got on the R6. I then started to realize, oh, okay, I am probably more in control of this bike now. I can do more things with this bike without having to constantly worry that the bike is trying to kill me versus paying attention to my style of riding and the quality of what I'm doing. I then went up to a Gixxer 750 back then. It was a great bike, loved it. But I don't know, maybe it was just because the R6 had kind of let me understand that I can enjoy riding the motorcycle much more than just fearing riding the motorcycle. That there was something about it, and it was pulling at my heart. And I went back to an R6, and I rode that R6 for quite some time. I think until it wrecked. I didn't wreck that one. I taught a lot of people to ride on that bike. and somebody was using it and they wrecked. They're okay, but the bike was it was just beyond economical repair at that time. So after that, I moved. I started different work. I started moving around different countries, different things, and I hadn't ridden for a while. And then when I got back into riding, I was a different person, older, different attitude towards just what I wanted to do, different style of life, even different group of friends. So when I got back into riding, I thought, maybe sport bikes aren't it for me, and the concept of nakeds hadn't really crossed my mind. So I went from race bikes or sport bikes to cruisers. And in that time, I've ridden, I think, I had the Vulcan, a Kawasaki Vulcan. I had a Harley Lowrider S, and now I have my Indian Scout Bobber, which is also not with me right now because I wrecked it last year, and that was a good wreck. I mean, I ended up having to get knee surgery, tore the PCL in my left knee. It was a good wreck. Which I learned a lot from as well. There's always opportunity to learn things, and that's given me between the types of riding, the styles of riding, the bikes I've ridden, I've had a lot of time to think about gear and what I need to wear and what I should be wearing versus not. Now, as a cruiser boy, there's a certain look and a style that you kind of go with or you feel is appropriate with a cruiser. And that's either going to be like the World War II half helmet, or maybe you do like a 3/4 helmet, maybe even do a jet helmet, which is like almost a full helmet, but just the opening is I think I have one up there. Yeah, those two, they're probably not in focus though. Those are jet helmets just below the lower set. And leather vest, leather jacket, regular jeans, Chuck Taylors, stuff like that. And my buddy, who I was speaking to last night, was just like, yeah, I can't see people riding a cruiser wearing a full face helmet. And I do. I used to. I mean, those are my helmets, right? So that's a Shoei J Cruise, I think. The other one is Cardberg. I don't remember the model, Rust version. The gray one on top is a flip up. I forget even what they're called. Modular helmet. A C4. It's a Schuberth C4 modular helmet. All helmets, those are mine, all worn. Next to it is the NXR or RF1200. And I admit, on a really hot day, there's some days I'm like, it's really nice when you have that open face helmet and the wind is just going through and you're keeping cool. But at the end of the day, especially after me personally hitting the ground a few times, unintentionally, where I've seen it. I've seen the scratches and crack on the visor. I've seen the cracks and scratch and paint move on the chin of a helmet. And I'm just thinking, hey, if I wasn't wearing a full face right now, I mean, I'm not a pretty dude, but I like the way this looks, and I wouldn't want it to get any worse. But I think the looks aside, you can still be a badass. You can get a matte blacked out visor, helmet, and still look serious with a black leather jacket or something like that, and you're doing the part. You're rocking the look on that cruiser, to me, while still being as safe as you can be. I don't even wear the modulars anymore, and I'll be honest. There's one that's missing there because I gave it to a buddy recently. The AVG Sport Modular, man, one of my favorite helmets. But I just personally feel again that those chin locks, they may not be as secure at a high speed impact as a single designed frame of a full face helmet. So me personally, I rock a full face helmet all the time, whether I'm on the cruiser or on my naked bike now, my FTR 1200. There are some pluses and minuses. Like I said, temperature in the summer and the hot days, it can get a little tough in a full face helmet. So you've got to invest in one with good ventilation. It helps a lot. But it's just my opinion, you know. I will always wear a full face helmet unless I'm taking part in an event that is requiring a certain aesthetic or look, like when I do the Gentleman's Day ride. But that's all I wanted to say. You know, we had this conversation and it kind of hit a note with me, and I just wanted to share and talk about why I feel that regardless of what type of bike you ride, you know, rocking a full face helmet, at minimum a modular helmet, and a good one with a good locking mechanism, is the least amount of protection that you should wear when riding a motorcycle. Anyway, that is it for me today, at least as a informal, impromptu vlog. Again, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for staying till the end here. If you have, please, please, please hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want to get notifications when I post new videos. Please like the video if you like the video. And check out my Insta. You know, I also do post things on Instagram as well. My handle will be on the outro here. And that's it, man. Thank you so much for joining. Peace.